Hello and welcome back to another episode of Only a Bag, an Italy travel podcast. I'm Darcy Melton.
And I'm Nathaniel Mellor.
And on today's episode, as well as Fridays, we're going to be talking about what to do in the wintertime in Italy.
We figured 'tis the season. We're finally in December. And I will be the first to admit that December really crept up on me.
Me too. It's suddenly here.
It felt like January was taking a while, and then February was a little quicker. And then I was like, well, summer's right around the corner. And then summer was over, and it got cold. And I thought, that was all year. That was it. It was gone.
I feel like October lasted a good month this year.
That's fair.
I could feel the month of October.
Yeah. You did also bounce around, I think, a lot there.
I did. I did a lot in October, which I think made the time seem different. It warped time a little bit.
It did.
In a good way.
And now that we are here in December, we're trying to do, basically, I think in the last year, we talked about Christmas markets and winter things like days before Christmas. So we wanted to do it a little bit earlier in case you are on your way to Italy in the off season, in the winter, in this sort of December, January, February, even March and April period. And if you're looking for things to do. So we wanted to tackle some of that in this episode and the next episode. However, if you are interested in Carnevale, we are going to have some episodes, I believe, next week.
Yes,
on the Venice Carnevale, as well as in the week after. I think we were going to talk about Carnevales in other cities in case you are interested in the sort of festive party, masks, balls, and parades.
Especially because, as we talk about it on the episode, we'll get more into it, but I think there are other Carnevale celebrations in Italy that are more of the like Brazil and Mardi Gras sort of style rather than people dressed up in masks. It's like large floats and things like that. So we'll talk about that as well.
And that'll be exciting.
Yeah.
And before we get started, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who has been following along. Spotify will learn one day that we will have our 1,250 followers. And until then, a massive thank you to all of you who have been following. If you'd like to, you can do so on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. Likewise, you can also leave us a review to help other people find our podcast. We also have a website, onlyabag.com, where you can find all sorts of articles, as well as, ideally, we are currently working on a sort of first guide to Italy series in which you can, any information you need should be under this. And if there's something that's missing, once it's live, don't go there yet, or you can go there, but
it doesn't
exist yet. But once it is there, if there's something missing, please reach out and we'd be happy to add it to there in case you have a small question. Sort of a no question is too minor kind of thing, no question too small. And last but not least, we also have, I think, an Instagram.
Yes,
we do. I think because
Only a Bag podcast.
Nice.
At Only a Bag podcast? Yes.
Yes. I'm not sure how they do it.
I'm currently in charge of Instagram, our Instagram, not all of Instagram.
Mark was like, you know what? I trust you.
Yeah,
Take it over.
He did. No, he didn't. So I'm going to possibly be revamping that a bit, but you can reach out there. We will respond on Instagram as well as on our website. We have a contact box, so you can contact us there with any questions.
Absolutely. And if you'd like to support the podcast, we do have a coffee, ko-fi.com/onlyabag if you'd like to send us a donation. We also have affiliate links in the description of this episode and pretty much all of our episodes. If you are booking a hotel or a trip or a train or a flight or a ferry in or around or to Italy and you'd like to support us, you can use those links to book your experience or your trip, and we will receive a small commission from said company, and you have our undying gratitude.
Yes.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you so much. You ready to get into this?
I am excited.
Okay. So first, in this episode, we're going to be talking about mostly places in the north of Italy. We're almost in Switzerland at this point. We're in the Alps. And I just want to say at the top of the episode, I didn't know that Mont Blanc and the Matterhorn are on the border. Well, the Matterhorn's on the border of Italy and Switzerland, right? And Mont Blanc I thought it was just straight up in France, but it's on the border of Italy and France.
It looks like, however, they did the borders, everybody gets
a little bit.
Yeah, everyone gets half of the mountain.
They're trying to make it fair.
It makes it fair. I think it also does probably affect tourism numbers, or I don't know if it also makes it easier to divide a mountain range. I've never divided a mountain range between two countries, so I don't know if it makes it easier of like you just track point to point to point and you say, okay, along these lines is how we're going to do it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
I also think about whenever there are like rangers on mountains and things, I wonder how the interplay of like, there are certainly like rangers and park professionals
Sure.
who work on both sides. I don't know. I have a fun little, I feel like there's a Parks and Rec episode happening in my head of
Of
the
the
little
Italian
relationship between
Matterhorn
the
and the Swiss
Italians.
Matterhorn.
Yeah, they're just
Yeah.
having a little fun time.
Yeah, they probably
So that's in my head.
a lot of insults around coffee, I imagine.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe chocolate. Swiss love chocolate, I feel. I
Yeah,
don't know.
Italians don't really have much in the game of chocolate, to be honest.
I know. So on to visiting
Yeah, what should we
towns.
do while we're visiting these places?
I'm going to warn everybody. Y'all know I don't always pronounce things correctly, but I do my best. Some of these places, because they are so close to other countries, have names that aren't entirely Italian, at least to me.
I feel that, yeah.
So I'm going to be extra mispronouncing these, and I apologize.
Rather than just normally mispronouncing. I like that.
So the first place we're going to talk about is Gressoney-Saint-Jean. 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 Jean.
I love it.
You see, that's why I told y'all I'm going to mispronounce it. So this is in Aosta. Aosta.
You got that one, though.
This is in the northwest. It is quite near the Matterhorn. It is a super cute little Alpine village, and it's also a bit near Mont Blanc. So there is snowshoeing here in the Lou Valley, which just sounds whimsical.
Fun and whimsical, yeah.
Yes. So snowshoeing, ice skating, cross-country skiing if you're super sporty, and regular skiing as well. There's also, it seems to me, to be like there are forests in this area where you can go. Is that cross-country skiing when you're skiing in a forest, or is that regular skiing?
You know, I don't know. I don't think I like skiing as much as I like dressing up like I like skiing. I like the turtlenecks. I like the puffer jackets. I like the boots.
like
I
the
like the sunglasses. Not the actual skiing sunglasses, just in general sunglasses. I don't know if I like skiing.
You like a vintage skiing aesthetic.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. So I'm probably not the right person to ask, but I imagine cross country is the ones where you're in the woods and you're just going up and down and up and down.
Okay, so they have that. You can go skiing in the woods.
Okay.
Which sounds terrifying and beautiful.
I love it.
And in a nearby town called Gressoney-La-Trinité, so basically Gressoney-Saint-Jean is, I believe, at the bottom of this valley, and Gressoney-La-Trinité is at the top. I might have
Okay.
those mixed up, but I believe that is the geography.
Okay.
And it has a classic Christmas market with waltzer music,
Well, that's a classic.
which I believe is that sort of classical Swiss. When you think of like the Swiss Alps, there's that sort of like, I don't want to call it like oompa music, like oompa, oompa, oompa. Okay.
I have a
anyways.
lost look on my face because you said Oompa music. And I was like, yeah, the Oompa Loompa music. And then that's not where you went. And I
Yeah.
am even more lost
I
than
don't know how to
started.
describe it. It sound to me, it reminds me of like classical, like Swiss music. It's like Alpine traditional music.
Perfect. I love it.
Yeah, so they do that as well.
All I
as
can hear is the
having
Oompa Loompa song now. It's ruined for me. I'm so sorry.
Sorry, I was not trying to bring to mind Oompa Loompas. Swiss Alpine music happens in this town. So, seems super cool, very classical Alpine vibes.
It's also, if Christmas markets are of something that are interesting to you, dear listener, this is going to be sort of a thread we will follow ever so slightly in this episode and in the next episode. But as a broad generalization, the Christmas markets in Italy are just not that good. I would argue.
They're certainly not as good as what you would find in Germany or Switzerland.
Exactly.
All of the places that we're going to be talking about in this episode, though, do have Christmas markets that are closer to that than
and that was exactly-
like the
okay.
Southern Italian
Because
style.
it's so close to Switzerland, Germany, even France. I was thinking like Strasbourg in France. It's so close to that there is that type of influence, I think, in the Christmas market. But as soon, and I think in the next episode especially, even when you get to Venice, really, on it, which is not, I mean, it's at the base of these mountains, at the base of the Alps. That's kind of when it disappears, which is only simply to say that if you are thinking of, if you're already on your way to Italy, or if you're going to be coming to Italy for specifically Christmas markets, if you just like buying, what, I don't know what are at Christmas markets. I'm assuming there are ornaments and things like that involved, in food. Spiced wine, I think, is part of it from the photos. So we would recommend Germany or Switzerland unless you're just more interested in seeing Italy in the off season, and then Christmas markets are just a fun extra bit, in which case.
Yeah, and I would
Perfect.
I would add to that, that last episode we talked about how slightly more affordable skiing is in Italy. So if you are looking for a more affordable ski vacation with also some Christmassy things going on, I do think that some of these places in the Alps in Italy are a good option.
For sure. Which we actually talk about skiing in a little bit.
Yeah, and I will say, so at the end of this episode, I'm going to talk about Bressanone and is it Bormio? Yeah, Bormio.
Possibly. Okay.
And those do have, like, I mean, the comune websites, the community websites talk up the mulled wine and hot chocolate
Love
and things like that. So they are closer to that than I think anything you and I have seen in the South as far as Christmas markets go.
Namely, there is no mulled wine in the South.
There is not.
They're like, we're not going to put spices in our perfectly good wine. We're also not going to heat it up. So that's a lot of sad things.
So let's now talk about very nearby is Livigno. It is a town in the province of Sondrio, and it's in the Italian Alps. It's on the Swiss border, so it's a bit farther north than where we just were. It's an alpine town with lots of skiing and snowshoeing, classic. There is also nearby to this, not in this town specifically, but very nearby, you can drive, is a town called Tirano, and they have the Trenino Rosso, which is like the red train. And there are a couple of different options. And if you look it up, you'll see this, I mean, classic, beautiful photo of a little red old, I don't want to say, I mean, it's vintage, I guess. Yeah, it's vintage. A little old train going through the Italian Alps on a snowy day.
But vintage like 80s or vintage like 50s?
40s, 50s,
Really? Okay.
I think. Yeah, at least on the outside.
Okay. Steam engine type looking or coal engine type thing. Okay.
For sure. And they also have a modern train. It's a full train company, so they have options. They have a modern train, they have the older train, really for the vibes, and they talk about how wonderful it is for like photographing. I think because there are some points not only where you can see the incredible landscape from the train, but you can see the train. It's not coming back on itself, but when it turns and you can see part of the train from inside the train, so you can get incredible photos that way.
And I know that Switzerland and even northern Italy, even that part of France, is famous for its, I don't know if it's called the glacier train, glacial.
There's a glacier,
Something.
Monte Rosso or something up there.
There's supposed to be, like, there's basically a lot of these train services that have giant windows, like that even extend into the ceiling.
And so does this one.
And so does this one. Okay. And I think because you and I mentioned, I don't know if you remember, on an episode a good couple months, maybe a year ago, on fancy trains and trains in general. And we talked about this train, maybe not the Trenino Rosso, but a train in Italy. And I think we talked about wanting to take it or wanting to sort of figure out how to, is it point A to point B or is it just a loop?
I think it depends on which journey you choose. Because there is one that goes from, what is the name of this town? Tirano to a town in Switzerland. And it only takes like an hour, maybe an hour and a half.
So it's like you can kind of do a fun day trip through the snow, through the Alps on a beautiful day, and then just swing back around basically.
And so they have different options. They have as well as different journeys you can take, different trains they have as well. So they have the classic, regular, modern day train, the older train, which to me looks beautiful, but probably very loud, I'm guessing, based on the engine. And then they have like what you were talking about, where it's a like hyper modern train, and they have certain cars where the windows extend to the roof, so it kind of makes a dome of all windows, and that is called the Panoramic Bernina Express.
There's also one, if you're from the States or if you visited the States, I believe from Chicago to somewhere in California, there's one very similar where there's the windows go up, so you can kind of see. It's mostly for going through the West, so you can kind of see the sort of the atmosphere of the American West through these massive windows, which always seems gorgeous. Yeah,
I want to do that.
100%.
I want to go on this train and that train.
Yeah, this one maybe first. It's a little bit closer.
It's closer by, yes. And I mean, the landscape is absolutely insane looking. Yeah. It's really crazy and beautiful.
Plus there's hot chocolate.
Exactly.
And that's 95% of why I take the train. It's the snacks and the drinks.
To live your Polar Express life.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I'm here for.
Yeah. So let's next talk about Bormio.
Okay.
And this is in the same province. It's about an hour from Livigno. And they're here, so there's a Christmas market here and thermal baths.
That's kind of worth it, though.
This is probably the town I would choose if we were going nearby. I mean, I want to take the train for sure.
I love that. But you're like, but thermal baths.
Yeah, we'll take a day trip. We'll go from Tirano, have a time, go to Switzerland for a moment, see the incredible landscape in the train, and then we're going to go to the thermal baths in Bormio.
Do you know, and just for those listening, because I was confused, I did look at the notes. It's Bormio with an M.
Yes,
as
thank you.
Matthew, what do we use for the M?
Moo, like a cow. I don't know.
Sure. And not N as in Nathaniel. I don't know.
Because there's Borneo.
Yes.
It's a place, right?
Yeah. And that's what I was like, really? Borneo has that? But this is Bormio. I don't know why I put it on a southern accent, but I thought you might understand it better if I said it like I'm from the south.
So yes, thank
Bormio.
you.
I'm also assuming too, I have not seen pictures of these thermal baths, so please, if you have seen pictures, let me know. I think when I think thermal baths, when I think thermal baths, I have this image of pools of thermal water outside, and Italy tends to more do it's almost like a hot tub inside swimming pool type thing.
It's like they've funneled the hot thermal
water into a
redundant. Yes, the minerally hot water into a swimming pool situation. And so I have looked at photos in Bormio. There is one that is, so the whole town has these thermal springs. And therefore, it's not just a single thermal bath that you can go to. There are different facilities. One is a little bit more basic, and another is a little fancier looking. So they do have slightly fancier facilities, but it's not like you're sitting in a mountain.
Okay. Because I think I don't know if like in Iceland or something like that, there's pictures of like, this is how you would have a thermal bath. And it felt maybe not, I don't know how traditional it was versus sort of more for tourism, but it felt like, oh, that's cool. And I think if you're thinking that in Italy, it's not quite the same thing.
Yeah, good call to mention that. Absolutely. So moving on to Bressanone.
Okay.
Which is also a very confusingly, and this is no shade, this is on me. It's in German, it's called Brixen.
Yep.
And I was really confused when I was looking up information because I've heard of Bressanone. I've never heard of Brixen, but that seems to be the more common word. So basically, they're all in this area. There is Bressanone, Merano, not Murano, which is an island near Venice. This is Merano, and Bolzano. This is all in the Trentino-Alto Adige, South Tyrol area.
Okay.
So a bit east of where we were just talking about, but still in the Alps. So Bressanone is this, I mean, it's a beautiful, not that any of these other towns aren't beautiful, but this one's a bit more, it's a bit bigger.
Sure. Okay.
While the others that we've just recently talked about, to me, look a bit more Swiss and Alpine, more than sort of Italian in a way. So Bressanone has more colorful buildings. It's a bit more Italian to me. So, from the end of November until the end of November until the beginning of January, they have a Christmas market.
Okay, it's like 6 weeks basically. Okay.
Yes, exactly. And there's also a light show in the courtyard of the Hofburg.
Okay.
Which
is that
it's a big building.
Okay.
And I believe
sounds like a hotel.
I think it's the German word for the court of something.
Okay.
It's not a town hall.
So it's like a palazzo type
deal? Yes, exactly.
Okay.
The other name for it, the Italian name for it, is Palazzo Vescovile.
Oh, okay.
So inside this, and it's not, if you look it up on Google Maps, I would suggest looking up Hofburg Brixen, because there is the Hofburg Palace, and that is in Switzerland, I believe.
So
it's not the
don't
palace.
Go there.
It's Hofburg Brixen.
Okay.
And for €10 a person, you can enter and see this light show, which was created, I think every year it's created by a French light show company, but also this year a Ukrainian light show artist has come together, and they've made this light show that is about a brave little, what is he or she? Sorry, hummingbird. It's the story of a hummingbird who I think has to overcome adversity and it's about love and a hummingbird. Seems amazing.
Okay.
So it's a 20-minute show, and you're standing in this courtyard, and all around you, basically, cast on the walls of the courtyard of this building is this story in lights around you. Seems amazing.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Genuinely, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, very cool.
This is also, as we mentioned too, this is probably one of those places with a very traditional German Switzerland Christmas market.
Yes,
as well. This is not the
absolutely.
Italian one. It sounds like this is going to
Absolutely.
be
They do it
very
up.
nice.
And so this light show happens from November to January. Weekday evenings, there's a 5:30 and a 6:30 show, and then on the weekends it's a 7:30. There's an additional 7:30 show,
Wow. Okay.
just in case you want to go see that.
I love that.
Yes. So let's talk about, I would say Bolzano. So basically there's Bolzano, and then a 45-minute drive from Bolzano is Bressanone, which we just talked about. And then also in the other direction from Bolzano is a 45-minute drive to Merano.
Okay.
So I want to end by talking about, not end, but in this region talking about Bolzano because it is a city.
Yes. No.
The other places that we've talked about are
like village towns.
So yeah, it's a little
Yeah.
village. Bressanone is a little bit larger, but Bolzano is properly a city.
They're also trying to constantly get tourists to stop coming there.
To stop coming there?
Yeah, that's their big
Oh,
thing because
no.
it's super over tour. It's like one of the. It's
Sorry.
no. It's one of those things where we talk about over tourism or mass tourism, like Venice and this and that. And it's one of those places that it is so beautiful and they do things so well and so structured that everyone's like, oh, I'd love to visit. And they're like, no, we don't want you here. It's
So a
sort of their
good
vibe.
alternative is Merano or Bressanone.
Exactly. So here we are offering alternatives. No, and it's a beautiful, honestly, from the photos, we haven't visited, even though we keep like kind of meaning to, or even when we're up there, we're like, oh, should we just pop up there for a day trip? But it seems gorgeous. It is, I mean, firmly almost in Switzerland kind of thing. It's one of the few places, though, also in Italy that you can take your driver's test not in Italian, which I thought was fascinating. You take it in the language of South Tyrol.
Oh, can you also take it in German or no?
No, I think French, the language of South Tyrol, which I am not sure what it is, and Italian.
Okay, interesting.
I don't think you can take it anywhere in German.
Oh, sorry, not
unless
German. Swiss is what I meant.
If
It's
it's
so close.
that language of South Tyrol.
Okay.
I honestly cannot remember what it is. I'm like, it's not Tyrolese. That'd be insane. So
I remember, aren't there a couple of towns where you can take, not near this necessarily, but I think there are towns near Germany where you can take it in German.
potentially, yeah.
And
I'm not entirely
towns near
sure.
France. Okay.
Because I know that I only say that because this is also a region. South Tyrol's, I think, an autonomous region. They're
Yeah,
one
it
of those
is.
regions trying to sort of not separate, but they're not 100% into being part of Italy because honestly, they are very different from
And
Italy.
it makes sense. Like when you look up information about this, it's such a combination of German and Italian, and also something else, which is, being from South Tyrol, that it really does seem very much like its own thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's talk quickly about Merano. It is a riverside Alpine town, and it's I would say it's smaller than Bressanone, and they have a wonderful little Christmas market as well as their own thermal baths. And if you're looking for a fancier version of a thermal bath, which still is not like in the pool of a mountain, it's still in a bath in a pool.
Still in the bathtub.
It's fancier.
Okay.
Merano has a fancy thermal bath. So if you're looking for luxury, this is a good option.
Okay. That's good to know then.
Yes. Okay. So let's talk about Bolzano,
I love
the
it.
over-touristed town.
Yes.
Sorry, y'all. So they have a big Christmas market. It has, if they're trying to not invite
I know,
tourists,
that's the thing,
but they're
right?
doing a lot to. I mean, if you look at, they have no, I don't mean to throw shade at Italy. Sometimes Italy doesn't have good websites.
No.
A lot of businesses here just they're not doing great on the modern websites. The website for the Bolzano Christmas activities is top tier. So if they're looking to not bring in tourists, my suggestion would
Have
be
a worse
don't have a
website.
good website.
I love that.
So they have a big Christmas market with 112 vendors.
That's
Huge.
massive. Yeah. Wow.
Absolutely massive. They also have, like we were saying, again, a lot of these Christmas markets up in this area will have more festive, Christmassy, wintry, comforting food like you're thinking of. Like we said, the mulled wine, hot chocolate, pastries, they'll have that. And specifically, Bolzano emphasizes their food vendors.
Okay.
And that they're fun and cool. I think they have pretzels, they have like strudel and lots of different things that to me are fascinating and Christmassy.
Yeah,
you know?
especially because they're not Italian, I think.
Exactly.
We don't have pretzels or strudel, which I know for those of you listening might be like, okay, that's just two very common things. Not in Italy.
Yeah, exactly. So from the end of November until the beginning of January, they have this Christmas market that's going on every day. They have more than 130 musical events.
Wow.
And it seems a bit like some of them are,
That's like 2 a day.
yeah.
No, that's bad math. That's like 3 a day.
Some of them are proper like concerts that are
Oh, okay.
ticketed, things
Oh,
like
wow.
that.
Oh,
But others seem to be more like a pop-up sort of event where like a local band will wander around town playing their music. They have local choirs and things like that that are just kind of constantly bringing joy.
This is a silly question. Is it all Christmas music?
No.
Okay, I was curious if it's just like...
I would say largely it's, well, okay. I would say no, it's not Christmas music in the way you and I would think of Christmas music. I believe it is traditional music.
Okay.
And some of
okay.
it might be winter and festive traditional music.
Okay, good to know. That's kind of cool though.
I
'Cause
know.
Either way, I just didn't know if it was like, again, I can understand some people, not myself, but some people in this podcast don't like Christmas music after a certain point. Usually 2 days.
I don't like year-round Christmas music. I like Christmas music around
You
Christmas
like it
time.
from December 23rd to December 25th.
No, we can listen to Christmas music now. I just don't like Halloween. Halloween is for Halloween things.
Yeah.
Summer is for summer things, according to me.
I love it.
So now it's time for Christmas music. And I think I would really like, I mean, I think that any of these towns are really trying to bring joy to a darker, cold part of the year.
Yeah.
So I love the idea of having
Sunset at 2:30 type of places.
exactly. I love the idea of especially local and traditional music happening around town during the season. Seems
Yeah.
really cool.
That's really cool then.
Yeah. So next, shall we talk about the Dolomiti Super Ski?
The Dolomiti Super Ski.
What is that?
So we are moving into the skiing portion of this episode. And I, again, do not ski. So if I say something and you're listening and going like, this guy really doesn't ski, I do not. To me, skiing is an activity. I've went skiing once. It was in the Catskills in New York. You go to a place, you rent skis. It is a ticketed event, right? You have to pay to get in. You pay for a ski pass for the day. It includes like, I don't know, it was like a hot chocolate voucher and a ski lift type thing.
Sounds amazing.
I know. You go to the ski lift. This is after they teach you hot dog and pizza. And that was really it. They're like, and now you're ready for the slopes. And I'm like, oh, just, okay, fling me down the slopes. And you get onto the ski lift. And this was the Catskills, so it was not a nice one. It's one of those ones you hold on to the little handle that's sticking out and you just sort of ride all the way up. And then you just ski down.
Wait, I'm sorry, can I interrupt you? You didn't just hold on to a handle. You were in a seat.
No, that's not, there's like the I don't know if it's like the beginner ramps or whatever it is, but it's just sort of like a steel cable, and there's these little handles sticking out at different points, and you just grab onto the handle
But your feet are on snow?
on the skis, and you just sort of it just pulls you
and
up.
it just pulls you up the mountain. Mm-hmm. Oh, I've never seen one of those.
I know,
Okay.
and I think it must be for like the beginners. Like you don't need a seat at this point. And so that is my experience with skiing. And I say that because I just want to preface all this. Like, I don't understand how a lot of these hotels seem to be, and I'm not mentioning hotels by name, but it's just like that's part of their thing is like, oh, we're within X minutes from the ski lift. And I'm like, okay, is there a ski resort attached to this? Or is it just from a ski lift in which it'll drop you in the woods and good luck getting back to town? Like, I don't understand any of this. So
I would imagine a ski lift is connected to a resort, like a ski
that is what I thought too.
activity. Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
So the Dolomiti Super Ski is it's a project and it's been happening since the 70s. And it's essentially to unify the entire Dolomiti skiing area. It's something like, it's just over 12, basically it's about 12 towns, but it's a little bit more than that, areas and ski resorts included in this.
Okay.
So it's supposed to be one giant, we're all operating under one umbrella. There are something like 450 ski lifts. And about half of those are connected, so you can take one to the other, which
Wow.
I thought was kind of cool. Even if you didn't want to ski, I thought it was kind of cool, a neat way to sort of just see.
Yeah, I would do that.
Yeah, like the Dolomites, the
I
Alps.
think I would be bad at skiing, but I can sit on a ski lift.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, that's just kind of a cool idea because the pass, it's one pass. It's the Dolomiti Super Ski lift pass or something. Maybe there's a catchier name. And that pass is good for all the ski lifts. So you get your pass. It is a daily pass or a multi-day pass or a ski season pass. I checked out the prices. We are currently I think we're about to be in the peak season. Right now we're in the promo season. So for the next 2 weeks, the passes are something like 68 euros a person for the day. And then they get to 86, and then they settle into the ski season pass price of, I think, 72 euros or something like that per person per day as an adult.
And
which
does that include the use of the slopes?
Well, that is what I genuinely could not figure out, because it's written as if yes, because they're like, oh, we'll drop you somewhere, and if you want to ski from there, go for it. If you want to ski from this other place, absolutely go for it. And they hook you up with basically, I'll put it in the description. I'll put this link to Dolomita Super Ski if you're interested at all in skiing. It has the ski pass, it has like accommodations, it has ski schools, it has places that they're partnered with so you can rent your skis through them. Essentially, it's supposed to be like the one-stop shop for skiing, which I thought was really, really cool. It's also part of this sort of coalition is that between December and April, you are guaranteed to have snow. So the places that are included in this use snow machines, or at least all but like a very small amount of these slopes. And I think maybe those are ones that are a little bit farther to reach, if that makes sense. Like they're not that close. I keep saying I don't know anything about skiing, but it's like talking about sports and you realize you don't know anything about that sports. You're just like, oh, cool. Like the World Basketball Cup happens there once a year. How awesome. And you don't know what any of that means. So the World Cup of skiing happens around this area, and you can ski on those slopes as well. And I thought that's cool, because you don't get to play on like World Cup soccer fields, so I'm like, whoa. So they have all these little things, and you can, choose them. They also have live webcams if you are interested today in looking at them. But if you also are there currently and you're thinking, where should we go skiing today? You can go and look at the live webcams to see what the slopes look like, who's there, how much snow it is, that type of thing, which I thought was really neat. It seems, again, like as you were talking about with the Bolzano, it seems like, wow, you guys are really excited about having a comprehensive website. Yeah. So that is essentially the skiing. I would love to go more for the vibe. My hands don't like being cold. That's why I think I like hot chocolate so much. It's something warm to hold. And so I don't really like the idea of like, hurling down a mountain necessarily.
That's the thing. I want to like skiing, but it's the speeding down a mountain with what I feel is not a lot of control, and that terrifies me.
Yeah, I don't love that.
Yeah.
It's
but I think we should go and see the area for the vibes and the aesthetic.
And that's the thing.
And just, kind of take in other people's energy. I'm excited for other people to ski.
Yeah.
I'm excited for myself to go to Christmas markets
and
maybe have a strudel and a hot chocolate and some old wine.
And a train trip through the mountains.
Yeah. Let's do it.
See, that's the thing. And if you are interested, by the way, in skiing, this is not the only area. This is just sort of a comprehensive giant part of Italian ski resorts and skiing. There are ski resorts with their own packages. I can put some links in the description. There are all sorts of things around skiing, but part of the reason we wanted to do this episode is ski season kind of starts now. Early December 1st is kind of when it starts, and it will extend all the way until about April. Some of these places, there are 1 or 2 ski resorts that do have skiing into June because they are much higher.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, wow, okay, that's interesting. I've never gone skiing in June, but how fun. And so there are sort of levels to this, I guess. And of course, in the off season, if you happen to be listening to this episode and you're like, oh, but I'd still like to go, there's tons of hiking. You can still take the ski lifts. It's still like exploring, and people go hiking all up and down these areas. I just don't like that either. So
that's a good point. So I will say all of the towns that I mentioned, just by the nature of the geography in this area, it's super mountainous and beautiful. So if you do go in a season where there isn't snow everywhere, there likely will be snow on the tops of the peaks. It makes for incredible hikes. There's just the landscape is insane.
Yes, absolutely. So if you're into hiking, for sure, absolutely. Either way, go. Just be careful. I say that because we often, anytime we do an Italian headline episode, especially in the winter, there are often people going hiking in the winter, and that's typically when people get lost, especially veering off the trail, or if the trail's not necessarily poorly marked, because they do tend to mark them really well. It's just they'll try to close off the trail if something happened to it, or if it did lose its markings. And I think we did the one back in March or something like that, and it was just a bunch of people got missing because you just veer off the trail. Right. It's in the snow. There's a snowstorm that happens. So it is something to be, even though it's very connected, this area, it's still ultimately the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're an inexperienced hiker, or if you're experienced but are a little bit worried about getting lost, there are lots of options for tours and tour guides.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So that is a good thing to remember.
The last thing I wanted to mention is actually not about skiing or about Christmas markets. It's about Venice, and we're going to talk about it in the next episode. But for those of you who are currently listening to this, sitting in your hotel room in Venice, wondering what shall I ever do tonight, in St. Mark's Square, which is what we say in English, Piazza di San Marco, which is the big piazza, the big square in Venice, they will be lighting the Christmas tree this evening. So if you are in Venice and you want to see that.
On the evening of what is...
December 3rd.
Okay.
The evening of December 3rd. So when this comes out, we're recording this on December 2nd. But Wednesday, December 3rd, they shall be lighting the Christmas tree. And there's a kind of a little market-y type thing. It's lights and a couple of things. Again, they don't really do much in the way of a market. Mestre and other areas up and down the coast will have markets. But if you're in Venice and if you're already walking around and you're like, wow, what are we going to do on a Wednesday night? You can go see them turn the power on a Christmas tree. And it's a very interesting moment.
Yeah, sounds cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. And that's all I have to say.
That is also it for me on this episode, talking about alpine skiing, hot chocolate, and Christmas markets.
Absolutely. I'm excited. I would like to, I think, maybe later this winter, next winter, I think we should go.
Well, I just heard a really cool podcast episode that told me a lot of information about it, so I think I'm ready.
I think I'm prepared. I love it. It's like the end of one of those 1990s TV shows for kids. Well, because you're looking at me confused. They're always like, well, I just read this cool thing. I'm prepared. Are you? And I think that's what I'm supposed to be like, yeah.
That was my vibe.
Thank
100%.
You. Thank you.
So we're going to talk to you on Friday about things a bit more south well, it's not really that far south, but...
Literally just south of those mountains.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And the rest of Italy.
Exactly.
And in terms of what else there is to do and I guess also what's not to do maybe in the winter, or what it isn't going to be, maybe to help prepare your expectations if you are planning a trip between now and basically April.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Thank you all so much for listening.
Thanks for listening. Tanti abbracci.